mentioning the food. I didn't know about this.
It's a federal program. Federal money comes down to the states, and the states administer it.
And what about the doctor?
Did you try to get on Medicaid?
I wish I was kidding when I tell you there used to be a website for McDonald's employees called the Mcdonald's McResources website, where employees could go if they needed advice with anything in life, and you could call if you had any problems in your life as well, and they were there to counsel you. But the advice that they gave on this website was absolutely ridiculous and out of touch. It was things like, stop complaining because that lowers your stress level. They also published a budget guide, which included working 2 jobs and only $20 a month for health care. What I want to show you right now is a clip from a video where a McDonald's worker calls into the McResources helpline because they're having to ration the food that they eat just to be able to survive so they can still work at McDonald's. And let me show you what the McDonald's McConsultant said, or whatever they're called.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I wanted more information about the help that I need.
I can give you a number that will be helpful. You can ask about things like food pantries. Are you on SNAP? SNAP is Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Food Stamps. Do you have kids? Are you?
Yeah,
single?
yeah, 2 kids.
Yeah. You would most likely be eligible for SNAP benefits.
Mentioning the food. I didn't know about this.
It's a federal program. Federal money comes down to the states, and the states administer it.
And what about the doctor?
Did you try to get on Medicaid? Medicaid is a federal program. It's health coverage for low-income or no-income adults and children. Let me find the number that you can call in Chicago, to find help with all of your questions.
So if you don't know, minimum wage is $7.25 in the United States of America right now. And this is the part of the video where I tell you this happened in 2013. So almost 10 years ago, this phone call happened, and you wouldn't even know. You would have no idea that this wasn't from this year or last year, because it's exactly the same situation. Now, I think it's particularly interesting that McDonald's would rather hire an entire McResources team than just pay their people more money. I also think it's interesting that these are the same fast food places complaining about how no one wants to work anymore because everyone's taking government handouts, but as you can see, they're the ones directing their employees to go get government handouts because they don't make enough money. I don't know, a little hypocritical there. And the fact this was 10 years ago doesn't even matter because it's the exact same situation. Minimum wage is still $7.25. Let me show you another video. In this one, it wasn't made by the McResources website. It's someone else taking screenshots of the McResources website and calling out how garbage it is. At least 2 vacations a year can cut heart attack risk by 50%. How on earth would any McDonald's worker ever take 2 vacations a year? 2 jobs, not 2 vacations, is more like it for most McDonald's employees. Sing away the stress. That's right. Sing along to your favorite songs. It'll lower your blood pressure. Don't just forget about the fact that you can't buy food when you get home after your shift today. Just sing away the stress. Sing away your hunger. Break up food into pieces, resulting in eating less but still feeling full. They're rationing it. They're already doing that, McDonald's.
Mentioning the food. I didn't know about this.
You may also want to consider returning some of your unopened purchases that may not seem appealing as they did. Selling some of your unwanted possessions on eBay or Craigslist could bring in some quick cash. McDonald's, do you think people have extra? Most likely not. Minimum wage in America is still $7.25. When I was 14 years old over 10 years ago, it was $5.15. Years and years of inflation have just totally ruined $7.25. It's not enough to live on. We all know that, but I know you're all looking for that. What does Josh think minimum wage should be? Well, it should be more than $7.25. And then there are those people in the comments that will say, well, just get a better job and go back to school and blah, blah, blah. And Yeah, that's easier said than done, and some of it comes down to the choices of these people, but then some of these people are stuck and they can't actually leave even if they want to. So just have a little bit of empathy here. Just because they flip burgers doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to live or pay rent or be able to, give food to their children or survive, just... Here's one. Quit complaining. Stress hormone levels rise by 15% after 10 minutes of complaining. If that's not corporate gaslighting, I don't know what is.
Yeah. We know you can barely eat when you get home, but you stop complaining. Think about those stress levels, right?
So here's a screenshot of the McResources hotline. Get a little love and support. It's fast, free, and confidential for you and your family. So one thing I'd like to point out here is never call your employer with these issues. They're just going to use them against you. Don't give your employer any more information than they need about you. Don't tell them about your finances. Don't tell them about your health. This is just bait. Don't use these little on-site, just talk to us. It's confidential. No, it's not. You or your immediate family members can call the McResource line as often as you want. Whenever you need help, assistance is available. English, Spanish, and 200 other languages. Okay, so again, I'd like to just come back to my point here of McDonald's would rather hire an entire support team for their underpaid workers than just pay their workers. The same companies complaining that nobody wants to work anymore are the same companies directing people to go get government handouts, right? Well, let me clarify here. By the way, just because you do use food stamps or you're on Medicaid, Medicare, all that stuff, if you need that, then you need it to survive. Like, I'm not judging you. It is what it is, right? But that's how people see it, right? Government handouts, lazy people, or whatever. And it's not the case. People just love to use the bad examples and cover everyone with it. So here's a guide from the McResources page about how to tip people. Tipping during the holiday season is a great way to thank those people who've provided for you with their services throughout the year. What you give, if anything at all, should be dictated by your relationship with the service person, how often you utilize the services, and most importantly, your budget. Assuming anyone that works at McDonald's has extra money to tip these people, like child teacher, daycare providers, dog walkers, fitness trainers, housekeepers. Do you think McDonald's workers can afford any of these, let alone tip them? Absolutely insane. So McDonald's got the backlash and they pulled it down. McDonald's tried to defend their McResources website by saying they took the advice out of context and characterized the campaign as an attempt made by an outside organization to undermine a well-intended employee assistance resource website. Where's the well intent there? One thing I'd like to highlight is this article. It's titled, How McDonald's Gets Away with Rampant Wage Theft. And if you don't know what that is, it's when basically your manager asks you to stay late for just a few minutes, but you're already clocked out. It's fine. You can't clock back in. The store's closed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know those 5, 10, 15, 30-minute things that your manager or boss asks you to do off the clock that adds up? Well, McDonald's is notorious for it. And in fact, people that sue McDonald's over it win fairly often. In February, a student guest worker won a lawsuit that charged McDonald's franchise in Pennsylvania with wage theft. They had been paid sub-minimum wages, denied overtime pay, and charged exorbitant pricing for company housing. That's weird. I didn't know McDonald's did company housing, but that's a big red flag. Last week, McDonald's workers in 3 cities launched highly publicized cases charging the corporation with wage theft. TLDR, they won. They agreed to pay these people $500,000. So McDonald's and other fast food places, these sorts of jobs are notorious for wage theft. Any of that extra, hey, can you clean the bathroom real quick before you leave? Anything that you're doing at work that you're not being paid for is wage theft. But companies, they love to flip this on us employees, right? Like that's why you get those sloped seats in toilets. They exist now for that reason. So you can't sit there on the toilet because it's designed to fatigue your legs so you can't sit and go to the bathroom on company time. Like companies love to flip this around and assume that workers are stealing from the companies, when in reality, most of the time, companies ask people to do things all the time outside of work without compensation. And because it's so normal, people do it all the time, and they just say you're not being a team player, but as soon as you stick your hand up and say, I'm not doing that unless I'm getting paid, well, now you're the bad guy, So here we are in 2022, and McDonald's has removed the McResources website. It doesn't exist anymore, but they still have a helpline for their workers. And I don't personally know anyone that works at McDonald's, but if you watch this channel and you work at McDonald's or know someone that does, I'd like to see their resources page these days. I can only imagine that it's even worse now because the spending power of that $7.25 is useless. You can't buy anything with that. How can you even do your job if you can't live to do your job? Back then, it just wasn't a hot of a topic as it was today with the Great Resignation and all this stuff going on and people realizing that they're being treated like garbage. So I think it's safe to assume that most likely nothing at all has changed at McDonald's, except people have just forgot about them telling people to go get on Medicaid if you're having to ration the food because we don't pay you enough money to live. I feel like that, like, you can't just let that slide. And so that's what this video is. McDonald's is a disgrace. Never call these company hotlines that are there for you. Remember, HR is not there for you. Human resources is there to protect the company, not you. There's probably going to be those people in the comments that say if you raise minimum wage, then everything's going to go up. But here is my line of thinking on it. Personally, I wouldn't mind if my hamburger cost more if I knew that the person making it got to go home and have a roof over their head. If I go to buy a burger, I would like to know the person making me my burger is at least being paid enough to live on their own if they want to. You know, like, this doesn't change people's spending habits, right? Like, they might be taking every paycheck and blowing it on something. I'm not saying you got to pay them to have a mansion or anything, you know, but like, how can your workers keep working for you if they can't even eat themselves? That's all. It doesn't even make any sense. Corporations are so two-faced, and they'll just be like, oh, just go get some government money. But at the same time, be like, look at those lazy people getting government money. They just play whatever side fits them the best, you know? So let me show you that McDonald's budget for their employees, their sample budget that they gave to help with their workers. Monthly net income. First job, $1,105. Second job, they just assume that you need a second job because they don't pay you enough. So, and then other income, $0. Monthly net income, $2,000. Savings, $100. Mortgage, $600. Find me a house that costs $600, please. Find me an apartment that costs $600 a month. Are you serious? Car payment, $150. Yeah, I could see that one. Home insurance, I could see that one. Health insurance, $20. This is the United States. $20 is what, like, the tiniest fraction of an Advil costs at a hospital. Heating, $0. That's right. You don't need heat. If you work at McDonald's, you don't need heat. Just come into work and stand next to the fry machines, I guess, if you want to warm up with them. They have internet and phone, $100. Electricity, $90. It's going to be more than $90 since you're not giving them any money for heat. Monthly expenses, $1,260. Monthly spending money, $800. Daily spending goal, $27 a day. That's right. If you want to work at McDonald's and also somewhere else, then you have a daily spending goal of $27. This is the most out-of-touch budget that I have ever seen in my life. This is what your company thinks of you. Just assume you have a second job. But then they get mad at you if they find out that you have a second job. But meanwhile, the CEO is actively managing and investing like 15 different companies. But you better work 60 hours this week, okay? Company loyalty. So you guys see the back and forth nature, the hypocritical nature of corporations using whatever politics benefit them at the time or whatever works to guilt and shame workers to get them to come back to work for shit wages. Anyways, I thought this was interesting. If you work at McDonald's and you have some info on the McResources or whatever they're making you use now, let me know. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see, I mean, I know that you're treated terrible. Like, I was just bagging groceries back in 2004, and, you know, I push the carts out, and the old people would just, oh, that's nice. Thank you for putting that in my van there. I appreciate it. And then, you know, they take their $5 and put it in my waistband. Just like, you have a great day, sir. Thank you so much. But if you're at McDonald's, you don't get tips. You just get people throwing hot coffee in your face or throwing burgers at you because they opened it upside down on the table or something like that. I know, because I worked at Subway. Someone did that. Got mad at me because they opened it upside down. Anyways, I'm ranting. I thought it was interesting. If you thought the video was interesting, if you can appreciate this, maybe share it with other people. If you enjoyed it, click that like button, click the subscribe button. If you'd like to see me call out corporate some more, because I know you can't, because obviously you would get fired or blacklisted or guilted or shamed or whatever other manipulation tactic corporate loves to use on you, go ahead, send it to me. I'll post it. I don't care. I'll do it, right? Like, I'm already blacklisted. No one's going to hire me. It's fine. So let me just segue into, if you'd like to support the channel, there are some links down in the description. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. I'll see you in the next one.